At the age of 125, he's just enjoying like what he enjoyed his yesterday, and with his family, with his wife, with his children, great-grandchildren, all friends, and having some function, festival. And next morning, Mr. Talwalkar he just left this world at the age of 125 without knowing anybody, without knowing himself also, in the sleep, beautiful sleep, looking at his best. My father's body, I remember, it was a very beautiful body. Even dead body was so beautiful. Fair, good hair, good physique. Of course, he expired at the age of 82. He wanted to live long. Okay. I want to live 125 years. So, I don't want to talk to more. I have taken your long time. Do exercise, be wise, be sensible, eat properly, take care of your life, take care of your family, be kind, helpful, change all over, and be the smartest person in the world. With these words, thank you very much. God bless you all. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. The book. No questions. On health, no questions.
Hello, hello. I think on behalf of all of us, we must stand up and give him a standing ovation. I think this is one of the best speeches which I have ever heard. And I think the name is changed from I Change to Body Change today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Good day.
Sir, I will now invite Nikhil. He wants to say something. Yes. He wants to share some personal experience about Mr. Talwalkar.
So I remember this is my fifth or sixth interaction, public interaction with Talwalkar sir, and I remember one story that he had shared with us, that he used to travel by bus to Mahim, and then there was a hospital there, and he said there cannot be a hospital. He used to tell his wife there can't be a hospital here. It has to be a gym. And after 2 years, I think, the owner of and then there was a hospital which was running. So after 2 years, the owner of the building approached Mr. Talwalkar saying that, look, I'm tired of this hospital. Every day there are emergency cases happening. So Mr. Talwalkar asked him, so why are you telling me this? So he said, no, because I want, and he came searching for him and said that, sir, I want you to start a gym. So I think that's the power of intent that he has. And this is what has made Talwalkar a great brand and himself a great personality. So thank you so much, sir. I request my friend Mr. Sandesh Kirkire, CEO of Kotak Mutual Fund, to hand him over a book as a token of our appreciation.
Sir, I can promise you that next year I'll be 100% fitter than what I am today. I can guarantee you that. It was so motivating, so thrilling. I assure you, next year, not as chiseled a body as yours, but at least a better shaped body than what I am carrying today. Thank you, sir. It was extremely motivating. I promise that at least I'm going to change with I change. I'm going to change from today. Thank you, sir. All that food, all that exciting food is not for me from now on. And they say fitness is fashionable. I think a fit body, anything you wear looks great. And we have another speaker who believes in fitness and is very passionate about it. He's going to come in a little while later, but in the meantime, can I have Dipali to take us forward?
Thanks, Ranjit. So I guess we have been injected with a dose of getting aspirational on health as well as wealth. And believe me, I truly agree that while our bodies are irreplaceable, this is the thing which, if we are fit, will look better than any brand, any accessory we buy. So excellent reinforcement of our beliefs, or maybe setting a new set of belief. Now with this we move over to the next speaker. So we are going to have Mr. Ajit Menon talk about data management, how it can transform how we do things and hope to take us to the next level of growth. Mr. Ajit Menon is head of sales and co-heads the marketing function with DSP BlackRock Investment Managers since August 2000. He has more than 19 years of sales experience, and prior to joining DSP BlackRock, he has worked with Standard Chartered Bank, Vodafone and Crompton Greaves Limited. He has been responsible for bringing forth innovation in the MF industry through various initiatives like Winvestor, an initiative by women financial advisors for women clients, and by launching online psychometric analytical tool for IFAs. So can we please have him on the stage?
Things are changing faster than what we can understand. Ajit has just told me that he's not going to speak about data management. He has changed this topic and he's going to talk about understanding clients' personality types. So Ajit, over to you.
Thank you. I hope this is on and you can hear me. Well, it's a very tough act for me to follow after the living legend, Mr. Talwalkar. So bear with me as I go through my subject on client personality types. Now, we've heard through the day, through various speakers, about the industry and about the issues and challenges that we face and the opportunities that we have in front of us. What I decided was to pick up a topic which is about how can we do something very, very important in our life, especially in our jobs, especially in our business, and how can we take that business forward? Is there a few small things that we can learn about, certain skills that we can gain that can help take our business forward? Now, as DSP BlackRock, I think one of the fundamental things that we have done as a manufacturer is that in the IFA space, we have been working very hard to introduce as many tools and skills as possible for people to adopt and improve and increase their business. The single motivating factor for us has been how can we help our partners grow their business. And therefore, the subject that I'm going to talk about as well is a small part of that, which is how can you understand your clients' personalities? Are there different personalities? Is there a way to read those personalities? And therefore, how can you deal with them? I'm not sure how many of you have read or understood about the moment of truth. I'm sure that some of you would have heard about it. You've heard of the concept of the moment of truth. The moment of truth is that instant in which an outcome is expected to happen, and whatever happens in that moment is the moment of truth. How ready are you? How ready are we all for that moment of truth, especially when it comes to dealing with our clients? Now, I'm sure that most of you will agree that we are learned people, we have a lot of knowledge, we learn about various aspects about financial planning, managing our investments, managing our clients' money. But we also know that there are certain soft skills that we need to have. Soft skills in terms of just understanding our customers. When we sit with them, can we really appreciate what is the context that they come from? What is the way to do it? So I'm going to start with a little bit of a story. And I think that just as Mr. Talwalkar talked about as when we were young, when we were children, I think that we were far more sensitive to the context that we were in as children as compared to when we become older and older. Let me give you an example. Imagine that you were a young student getting out of 7th standard or 8th standard, and the discussion that has happened in school is that there is a picnic that everybody is going to. It costs about 500 rupees to be contributed by each student, and you have to go for that picnic. Most of your friends are going for that picnic, but you are very, very scared and unsure whether your parents are going to give you permission. What happens? When you go home, the first person that you will probably attack immediately is the mother. And with the mother, your style will be completely different. What you will tell your mom is that, Mom, I'm not going to listen to you. You have to say yes. First you say yes, then I'll tell you what I want. And the mom will say that, listen, why don't you tell me what you want? But you will still insist, no, Mom, I'm not going to come to Nani's place. I'm not going to come to the temple with you. I'm not going to eat my food. You have to first say yes, then I'll tell you what I want. The mom says, okay, Baba, yes. So what do you want? So there's this picnic and everybody's going. All my friends are going. I'd like to go too. And mom says, well, you'll have to talk to dad about it when he comes back in the evening. And if he agrees, and if he pays the money, sure, you can go. Now, dad comes home in the evening. Now, you're deciding, what is it? What is the right time for you to break the subject with dad? Right? As a child, you're always thinking about this. You're scheming about it. You're thinking, should I tell him in the morning when he's going to office? No way. He's very, very hassled at that time. He's not finding his socks. He's not finding his tie. He's not finding his wallet. He's hassled. That's not the time to tell him. He's in a hurry. Should I tell him as soon as he comes back from work? No, he's going to look a little tired and harassed with the traffic and all of that. So that's not the time to tell him. He has a shower. He gets into comfortable clothes, picks up the remote and sits in front of the TV. And he says, now he's comfortable. So I think this is the time to bring the subject up to him. And you go up and say, Dad, there is this study tour from school. You don't say picnic. You say study tour from school, and I'd like to go for it. You see, we are going to this fort where Shivaji was coronated, and all of this has happened, and there is history, and our history teacher is coming, and a few of us are going together. Then your dad, that's how you convince your dad. You don't do the same thing that you did with mom. Now, the point I'm trying to drive at is that as children, we are very, very sensitive to the context that we are in. We're very, very sensitive to the people around us and how we behave with them and what we need to do to get something done. But what happens when we grow up? Somehow we lose that sensitivity. It's all about I. I'm sure you will understand that when I say this, that most of the time, we have all, like I said, all the knowledge and the information. We want to just go and speak to the client. For a moment, we are not trying to think what is it that the client has gone through probably today or yesterday or this week, and what is the mood that he is in. And that is the subject what I'm going to talk about today, which is that how do you understand and recognize types of personalities that may be out there and then deal with that personality in the way that that personality wants to be dealt with, not how you want to deal with that personality. So there's been a lot of research, psychometric, psychology that's been applied for experts who have basically bucketed people, most people, into 4 different buckets. Let's see what those buckets are. I don't know if it will change. Yes, there you go. So the 4 different personalities that experts normally talk about, and this is, decades old as a presentation. It's done by BlackRock world over with many of their wholesalers and distribution partners. The 4 different personalities that are typically there is the optimistic personality, the life is for living kind of people, the passionate personalities, the life is for doing kind of people, the perfectionist, more grim, more glum kind of people, but life is for learning, and the casual, calm, and composed people where its life is for peace. These are the 4 different buckets that you can typically put people into, and as I go through my next couple of slides, you will start understanding and probably even recognizing some of your peers, some of your family members, and definitely some of your clients. So let's look at that. Let's look at the first personality, which is the optimistic kind of personality. Life is for living. Now, the key characteristics of an optimistic person is that he's going to be very enthusiastic and animated, very expressive, reacts to humor, wants to be accepted, is driven by emotions, likes to talk a lot, relationship-oriented and spontaneous, also sometimes forgetful. I'm sure that you would have met these kind of personalities, but how do you recognize them? The way you recognize these kind of personalities are that these are people who typically tend to bounce on the tip of their toes. They're full of life. They're very energetic. They're very expressive. Their mannerisms are extremely large, very animated facial expressions, and uses gestures, sometimes even tends to hold on to the person that they're speaking to. I'm sure that when you think back to college time or even some of your clients, you will recognize some of these personalities who are very, very expressive and animated in life. Now, why am I saying this? What is important for us? Let's remember that what drives the optimistic person are feelings and not rational thought. A lot of people are driven by feelings and not by rational thought. And important things to remember with such people is that they're not good with detail and they don't always follow through. So if you had to, as an IFA, deal with this kind of a personality, what should you do? And that is the crux of my presentation for each of these personality types. What can you do which can improve your productivity? Point number one, schedule sufficient time for meetings with these kind of personalities. If you think that you're going to go, okay, I'm going to meet him at 11:30 and I've got the next meeting at 12:15, so I'll finish off with him in half an hour. I've just got to discuss something with him and get his sign off, and then I will move on to my next appointment at 12:15. Not going to work. Because he's probably going to start with India's defeat at England, against England, and then he's going to talk about the new government and what they talked about. He's going to talk about the tea that he had his last holiday, and then he's going to probably come to the subject of his investments. And you would have lost a good 1.5 hours or 2 hours with these kind of personalities. So if you know these kind of personalities who are very animated, lots of expressions, very, very optimistic and energetic kind of people, remember that in your meetings, schedule times for them. Focus on building a relationship before selling and don't get too involved in details. If you want to show off your intelligence about how you know about the GDP moving and the interest rate curve and all of that, it's completely lost on these kind of people. They're not good with detail. What they like is the macro picture. You need to get a commitment for follow-through from these kind of people and sell to a positive. But most important, which is not here, which I can tell you, is you need to talk about the dream. You need to paint a picture. These are people who like the macro and not necessarily the micro. So that's how you deal with a personality who's that, typically energetic, typically optimistic. Let's look at the second kind of personality, the passionate personality. Life is for doing. Now, I'm sure that you would have probably seen some of these kind of personalities as well. These are the leadership-oriented people. They look like leaders. They come across as leaders when you deal with them. They're very direct, very task-focused, extremely decisive and demanding, impatient, very competitive, objective and candid as well. These are the traits of the passionate person, also very opinionated. And I can tell you that there is, while you can see that, I can see some of you in the audience already thinking that I know who he's talking about. I have my boss or my colleague, somebody who is exactly this kind of a personality. How do you deal with these kind of people who are very opinionated, very candid, very direct, very, very task-focused? What drives them? Let's look at what drives them first, and then you will understand how to deal with them. What drives them and how you will recognize them is that they speak loudly, they stand with their shoulders held back, they sometimes end up pointing fingers at the people they're speaking at. They're very direct when they're talking. They're looking you directly in the eye. And sometimes organizes objects on your desk. The way to recognize his personality is you walk into his room, you walk into his house, you walk into his office, and I can tell you that everything is very, very organized, very precise. So that's the kind of personality how you'll recognize. As compared to the first personality that I talked about, which is the optimistic personality. If you walked into his office, probably, you might think that a bomb has gone off. Things will be all over the place, probably, and he loves it. But this kind of a personality will be very, very organized. So how do you deal with them? And what sort of drives these kind of people? What drives passionate people is the real need to get immediate results. They're not driven by emotions, and they like to take control of a situation and make very, very quick decisions. That's how you'll recognize a more passionate kind of person. So, I'm sorry, so can you? Great, thanks. So, how do you have an action plan for the passionate personality? To me, there are quite a few things over here. Respecting his time, come prepared, ensure a two-way conversation, and be focused and to the point. Like I told you, these people, one of the most important things to remember, if you know these kind of clients of yours, never be late for their meetings. You have to be on time. They respect time, and they'd like you to keep your meeting to time. Don't go to this personality and then start talking about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the environment and the weather and all of that. They'd like to get straight to the point. They'd like to hear your details, and they'd like to be very, very focused. To me, I think one of the ways to deal with these kind of people, especially when you want them to do something, is this point right here, which is, let me just get you there. Yeah. Provide options and allow him to come to his own conclusion. The passionate person, the leader kind of guy, the very task-focused, demanding guy, you can't go to him with just one solution, what you think is going to be right for him. The way that they work is you give him the options and he will make the choice. So the way to deal with these kind of personalities is that always go with more than one solution, more than one thing in your offering to that person. And believe you me, he will choose what he thinks is right because he likes to be in control of the situation. So that's the way that you will recognize a passionate person. Let's move on to the third kind of personality, which is the perfectionist. The guy, the life is for living kind of person. More quieter. How do you understand if you're meeting up with a perfectionist kind of people? They're very intellectual, they're very serious and intense. They seek a lot of data and facts, they're sensitive, they like structure, they're planners, and they're very analytical. I'm sure that you would have met up with these kind of people as well, where they're not talkers, they're not having great expressions and all of that, they're quieter people. They're more intense people, they're more serious people. You might even think that they are very melancholy or grim at times. But these are the people who tend to be very analytical, very planned, and seeks data and facts. Obviously, what is it that how will you know a perfectionist when you see him? Like I told you, speaks very softly and slowly. Mannerisms will be very close to the body, little expression when he talks, and sometimes even tends to lean as he's speaking. They're not the guys who will stand on, on their tips of their toes and be bouncing around. They're the quieter kind of personalities. I'm sure that you know some of your clients who are that way as well. What drives their decision? Perfectionist, it's very obvious, the desire to be perfect. Very important things to remember is that he always likes structure, needs time to think through every situation. So you ensure when you meet up with these kind of personalities that you have everything that he may want. Don't go there and say, oh, sir, I forgot this other form which you need to sign. I will send it to you on the email, and you can do it later. He's not going to like it. You better be very prepared with these people with all your data and facts because they are likely to check those data and facts as well. They may not immediately take that decision, but they are likely to check all the data and facts that you've given them. They like those facts. So when you are talking to these kind of personalities, the quieter kind of people, the one who you will see is mostly well-dressed, and when I say perfectionist, already you can form an image in your mind as to how they would be. The way to deal with them is that you run their meeting very, very professionally. Don't waste time, don't be late again, and don't talk about anything and everything else other than the job that you have come there for. Provide a lot of details, know your facts, he checks for accuracy, give ample opportunity for questions, ensure that with these kind of clients you ask them, so do you have any questions more? I mean, I can answer them for you. These are the people who like that if you give them the opportunity to ask more questions. Schedule a follow-up meeting to get his commitment. So the most important thing when you meet these kind of personalities is that don't imagine that you're going to get your sale done or whatever you've come for done immediately. It is going to take some time for you to get it done. So ensure that you give him all the facts and data. Tell him, sir, you can please take your time to go through it, and I will come back next Saturday, and then we can do a deal. He's going to like that. He's going to probably take that decision when you go to him the next time. Don't push him for a decision immediately. The last kind of personality is the calm and composed person. Now, the calm and composed person is also very relationship-oriented, a very good listener, but hesitant and avoids decision, is quite insecure, is passive, he dislikes change, and is a bit of a worrier. These are the traits of the calm and composed person. How would you recognize him? Stands with hands in the pocket, constantly playing with change, shifts weight, very expressionless, listens a lot with intensity, never in a hurry, prefers casual clothing. As compared to the perfectionist, he is a person who would rather be a little more casual, and you can make it out from his mannerisms, from the clothes that he wears, and the way he comes across. So what drives their decision? What drives his decision is basically to maintain stability. He's hesitant when making new decisions. So the way to run meetings with these kind of people is keep the meetings reasonably slow, be very clear about the goals that you want yourself to achieve with him and talk about it very clearly. Take your time to describe things because he likes to listen a lot. So take your time. Don't be in a hurry to finish off the meeting. Identify similarities. I think this is key, which is that if you have given him a certain product or a few financial products as solution in his portfolio, what works with these kind of personalities is more of the same. You cannot introduce completely new ideas and new products to these kind of personalities. You have to be very, very consistent. He likes his stability, so he would love to get more of what he already has and introduce those changes gradually, not all in one meeting, in case you're making any change at all in his portfolio. So those are the 4 personalities that we had for you. The optimist, the passionate, the perfectionist, the calm and composed. There are some similarities between these people, but if you heard me describe each one of those people during my presentation, I hope that you would get to know how to deal with them and how they look, how they behave, and how you can get your meetings going more professionally, more productively with them. I think the idea for DSP BlackRock to do this presentation really is to help you increase your productivity. We want to send the message that it is not just the technical aspects of what you need to know about your job, but also a lot of the soft skills that you need to learn so that you can become a more productive individual. To me, I think that this could be a start for many of you to explore some of these soft skills, learn and understand more of them so that you would be able to become far more productive in the jobs that you do, in the meetings that you do. Ultimately, it's going to be the moment of truth that is going to decide for you whether you're going to get your result or not, whether you're going to move forward. And for that moment of truth, all of those little things matter. So my message is, the little things matter. There are certain personality types that you can identify. You can tailor-make your meetings for those kind of personalities. Happy to share this presentation with all of you and any of you who would need it, especially if you come to DSP BlackRock's financialadvisor.dspblackrock.com website. You will get a lot of such resources that we have loaded on. I tend to speak on many of the stuff that we've put up on our website. This is one of them. You can download it, go through it once again to try and understand it, and actually start looking at your clients in a very different way. I hope that will help you be successful in your daily jobs, and I hope that this journey that we are all taking here together as I Change, this is one small contribution that we can do as DSP BlackRock. So thank you very much for giving me a very patient hearing. I hope that this is helpful, and happy to talk with any of you during the breaks. Thank you.
Thanks, Ajit. Can I request you to stay on while I invite Gajendra Kothari to hand over a token of appreciation?
My financial planner.
That I'm sure you have already.
Yes, it is him. It's nice to have it from you, my friend. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This video which we are going to be showing, it's about importance of asset allocation products in distributors' life. We have with us today Miss Aditi Kothari, who is the daughter of Mr. Hemendra Kothari. She's EVP and Head of Marketing with DSP BlackRock. We are glad that she has made it here today. We welcome her. We are just running the video for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Quá được rồi, được rồi luôn. Wow.
Dạ có mừng kêu mừng hả? Dạ có mừng.
Đấy, hỏi cái vào cái đầu cái hổ luôn.
Cháu luôn.
Đó rồi. Wow. Ai vậy cô con? Ai vậy cả bà đồ cái cô phải đấy vào. Đó rồi. Bye. Alo. Đấy, đá luôn cái cười luôn. Đá cái lỗ.